figure skater Veronika Yametova spoke about moving from Yekaterinburg to Moscow and working with coach Sergei Davidov. For several years, I'd wanted to learn the Ultra C element, so I contacted Sergei Dmitrovich Davidov. He wrote that he was waiting for us and ready to discuss everything. The next morning, I was already on a plane to Moscow. I skated for half an hour at my first practice, and Sergei Dmitrovich took me on. Before the move, I had considered taking a break from my career. But I realized I had an unfinished business. I decided to try out with a different coach, not in the Sverdlovsk region, but in the capital. It was definitely difficult for me. From an early age, I had been coached by Elena Arnoldovna Levkovitz and Vladimir Yuryevich Nalazabov. We've been through a lot together, achieved a lot together. It was with them that I learned all the jumps. At first, it was hard and sad, but then I realized I needed to think about my current goals and pursue my dream, learning the Ultra C element. Why did you switch to Davidov? Because Sergei Dmitrovich is a very strong specialist who has taught me a huge number of Ultra C elements, and can find the right approach and choose the right words. I'm wired in such a way that if I don't discuss a mistake with someone, I start to panic, something's going wrong, I'm doing something wrong. I feel more comfortable with a coach who sees and notices everything, and will talk to me about it. So there's a clear work plan and a dialogue. Were your expectations met? Yes. I was counting on working and learning something new, and that's exactly what happened. We corrected some minor flaws, so everything is fine. Regarding competitions, unfortunately, I can't say that. I'd like to perform more consistently this season and take some podium places. But overall, I'm glad I had this stage. I think it was necessary. Sergei Dmitrovich and I barely touched the jumping technique, just tweaked a few nuances. Yametova said. Are you following the issue of eligibility for international competitions? Of course. They said they were going to allow juniors. If that happens, I'd be very happy. I'd like to compete in international competitions, because throughout my rather long career, I've never had the chance to go anywhere. But I'm sure it will happen someday. Right now, the only international competition for us is the Olympics. Where will Ilia Petrosian and Petr Gomenik go? I'm very happy for the guys that they have the opportunity to represent us at the Olympics, even if it's under a neutral flag. I'm really worried about Ilia and Petya. They're great. They can pull themselves together when the time comes. The main thing is not to worry and just do what you can. Regarding the neutral flag, by the way, does this status mean anything to you? Let's say, if Russia were allowed to compete internationally, but without its national attributes, how would you feel about that? After all, everyone knows we're Russian. We just need to show we're the best. And I hope they'll definitely bring back the flag. Have you ever considered competing for another country? This topic is becoming less relevant now, but in the early years of the suspension, it seems like many people were thinking about it. There was a moment when they suggested I switch to the United Arab Emirates, UAE. They wanted to develop figure skating there. There was some discussion about it for a while, but then it fizzled out. Honestly, I'm even glad. I wanted to compete at home. And our figure skating federation tried to retain its athletes as much as possible, creating good conditions for us. So there was and is no real reason to leave, Yametova said. In October, Yametova, Edward Karatinin, Maker Solodnikov, Anna Moskaleva and Artem Rodzinov, Tasia Sheptelina, and Dmitry Pekin, performed at a festival in Pyongyang. Initially, I thought everything would be very strict there, standing at attention, waking up strictly at the alarm clock. Before leaving, I decided to read up on how to behave there. I opened it and thought, how can I even live there? There's no internet, people don't speak English or Russian. But we were provided with a guide translator on site, and they explained what we could and couldn't do. Overall, everything went well. We had no questions. The Koreans were friendly. I don't think they knew us, but after our performances, they gave us a standing ovation. I hope they really enjoyed it. Overall, what were your impressions of your stay in the DPRK? Positive. We took a bus from the hotel to the ice rink, and people passing by smiled and waved at us. I think it was truly heartfelt. It was nice. I really liked the local architecture. I'd even say I'd go there again. We performed there at the 80th anniversary of the Communist Party. There was a big closing show, and they took us to their huge arena, Mayday Stadium. The scale of it literally took my breath away. Thousands of people participating, everyone in sync. And when Kim Jong-un came out, I dreamed of seeing him in person. He read a speech in Korean. We, of course, didn't understand a thing, but we listened silently, attentively. And after he finished, the entire 100,000-seat stadium began cheering. It sounded like our own hurrah. Only in Korean. It lasted about 10 minutes. Naturally, we participated too. We weren't allowed to wander around the city on our own. In fact, we weren't even allowed to leave the hotel grounds. Of course, we really wanted to walk around and see what was going on, but if you can't, then you can't. Yametova said. Figure skater Alexandra Bykova explained why it's harder to land a quadruple throw on one foot than on two. At the Russian jumping championships, Anastasia Mishina and Alexander Goliamov and Bykova and Dmitry Kozlovsky attempted a quadruple throw salchow, but all their competitive attempts were unsuccessful. After the competition, Mishina and Goliamov performed a throw landing on 2 legs, while Bykova and Kozlovsky performed the element cleanly. The quadruple throw on 1 leg is something completely different. The quadruple throw on 2 legs is good, well done, it's great that they're trying it. But what's so difficult about doing a quadruple throw on 1 leg? You stop the rotation solely with your body in 1 leg, and all the weight, all the stress, all the twists, and all the acceleration of the fall is on 1 leg, not both. Even if you scrape your leg just a little, it's still easier to do the throw than on 1 leg. It's truly very difficult. But until someone starts doing it themselves, they'll never understand. Bykova said in a Channel 1 video. 2022 Olympic silver medalist Alexandra Tusovva said she continues to train regularly. Tusovva competed at the Russian jumping championships, where she didn't place among the medalists. These competitions were her first after a break from her career and the birth of her child. Competitions are great, but regular training hasn't been cancelled. I'm really happy to finally get back into my usual rhythm. Following the championships, I realize what I need to work on. Of course, no one planned to stop. The skater wrote on Telegram. 2-time Olympic champion Evgeny Plushenko believes that Russian figure skaters Ilia Malinin and Petr Gumenik will have a hard time winning medals at the Milan Games. The Olympics are starting soon. How do you rate the Russians' chances? I've been to 4 Olympics. These are completely different competitions. Not like the European Championships, the Russian Championships, or the Grand Prix. When you see the Olympic flags, you immediately get nervous. You have to fight it. Anyone who hasn't been to the Olympics won't understand. On the other hand, it's a real celebration. I've arrived at my first Olympics. Pasha Bur, Alexei Zhamnov, and other hockey players. You start chatting, making friends, there are fireworks, opening and closing ceremonies. Thousands of the greatest. And you need to be able to abstract yourself from all of this. You walk through the Olympic Village. A huge dining hall where you see all the athletes. By the time you've talked to everyone, said hello. You need to create the right vacuum around yourself. For example, I lacked that at my first Olympics. We arrived a month before Salt Lake City. Why, I still don't understand. At the 2nd and 3rd Olympics, we acclimatize quickly. We have some good guys competing in Milan. If they can handle it, they'll have decent results. The competition is fierce right now, especially in men's skating. Malinin can do a quadruple jump. Both the Japanese and Europeans have quadruple jumps now. So it will be difficult for both Petrosian and Gumenik to make it into the top 3. Said Plushenko. Ilia Malinin, personally, is the one you're most excited to watch. I am. Especially since my agent, Ari Zakarian, with whom I've worked since he was 15, and his agent too. We're in touch every day. Ilia has competed with his parents since childhood. We attended training camps together. I know them very well. I'm very happy that they raised their son to the highest level. He was the first person on the planet to do a quadruple jump. It's unthinkable. No one even knew it was possible. I thought it would happen later. I'll go further, Ilia can do quintuple jumps. Can you imagine where he's headed? I really want him to be mentally strong. Said Plushenko. American figure skater Ilia Malinin will wear laces at the 2026 Olympics given to him by Washington Capitals hockey player Alexander Ovechkin. On Monday, the 2-time world champion took to the ice for practice wearing skates with yellow laces, the same ones Ovechkin wears. After practice, the skater announced that he received the laces as a gift from Ovechkin. Ilia Malinin performed a quadruple axel during practice for the 2026 Olympics. The athlete's manager, Ari Zakarian, posted the video on social media. Malinin will compete in both team and individual events at the Games. The men's short program in the team event will take place on February 7th.